Hello, hello, hello. The topic of today's class is fibrinolysis. The objectives are definition of fibrinolysis, role of plasmin, mechanism of activation of precursor plasminogen, role of inhibitors of plasminogen activators. This is very important. This is very important to understand that how the plasminogen activators are inhibited and what are the different factors which could activate the plasminogen, or in other words, this can also be described as inhibitors of the inhibitors. So once the inhibitors are inhibited, this means that the plasminogen is activated, and the therapeutic application of this mechanism, which now is a life-saving process in the coronary emergencies or the cardiac emergencies. Now, before going into the details, let us review the different processes which inhibit thrombosis. You have already learned the process of coagulation and formation of thrombosis, but here we would like to review the inhibition of the thrombosis, because where the extravascular hemorrhage is arrested by the process of coagulation, you have to inhibit the formation of the thrombus in the intravascular system. And during the process of the circulations, these procoagulant factors are activated due to reasons, due to the turbulence in the flow of the blood, or the structural changes in the vessels. They might initiate the process of the thrombosis, but you have to arrest it before it generates a thrombus. So the vascularity, the fluidity of the blood is to be maintained in the vascular tree, and if for any reason a little amount of the fibrin is generated, it should be immediately lysed. It should not be allowed to be converted into a proper clot. Now, if you see over here in this diagram, this is the endothelial lining of the vascular system. On this side, these are the factors which inhibit thrombosis. Now, one of the compound that is known as the antithrombin 3, right, which binds to the receptors on the endothelial cells. Now, what it does, antithrombin 3, that it neutralizes the thrombin, or rather inactivates the thrombin. So once the thrombin is inhibited or it is inactivated, the fibrinogen will not be converted into fibrin or clot. Antithrombin also inactivates the factor 10A and factor 9A. Now, factor 10A basically is a prothrombin activator, and from here the common pathway of the clotting starts. So once the factor 10A is not there, it will definitely not allow the prothrombin to be converted into the thrombin. There is yet another mechanism right over here, that the thrombin by itself, right, it activates the process of the fibrinolysis. And how it does it? That it binds to the endothelial cells, and by binding to the endothelial cells or to the receptors, thrombin receptors on the surface of the endothelial cells, it activates the protein C or protein S also. And in this way, when these proteins C and S they become activated, they cause the proteolysis of the factor 5A and the factor 8A, or the activated form of the factor 5 and the activated form of the factor 8. Another process, right, to inhibit the thrombosis is that you have to prevent the aggregation of the platelets. Now, if you see over here that these endothelial cells, they produce the prostaglandins and the nitrous oxide and adenosine diphosphate. What they do, that they inhibit the platelet aggregation, and by inhibiting the platelet aggregation, they inhibit the formation of the thrombus. But here our concern is this, that these endothelial cells also produce a substance, right, which is called as the tissue plasminogen activator. And this tissue plasminogen activator, it basically switches on the fibrinolytic cascade. So our topic is the mechanism of the fibrinolytic mechanism. You have to dissolve the fluid which incidentally has been formed in the circulating blood. So this is done by a factor which comes from the endothelial cell. This is known as the tissue plasminogen activator. Now, fibrinolytic mechanism, what does the fibrinolysis? Is the system whereby the temporary fibrin clot is systematically and gradually dissolved as the vessel heals in order to restore normal blood flow. It is the body's defense against occlusion of the blood vessels or prevention of the ischemia to the tissues. Now, there are a number of substances responsible for the fibrinolysis. In 1937, McFarlane reported that damaged tissues release a substance that activates the inert precursor called plasminogen. So in fact, this tissue plasminogen activator was identified by McFarlane in 1937, that due to the tissue damage, a substance is released which converts a precursor which is already present in the blood, and this precursor is known as the plasminogen, and this factor converts the plasminogen into plasmin. Now, it is a non-specific proteolytic enzyme capable of degrading fibrin as well as fibrinogen and factor 5 and factor 8. Activation of the plasminogen to plasmin, a zymogen known as plasminogen, which normally present in plasma, is converted to plasmin by the action of the plasminogen activators. It is a single chain glycoprotein, molecular weight of about 90,000 daltons, synthesized in the liver. Increased concentrations are found with inflammation. So this is one of the factors which is a component of the inflammatory soup also. Now in this flow diagram, very simple to understand that the vessel injury, right, it acts on the tissue plasminogen activator, or it releases the tissue plasminogen activator. Now this tissue plasminogen activator, right, is acting on the proteins with the help of the protein C and S, and in fact the inhibition of the activators is lost, and when this inhibition of the activators is lost, this converts the plasminogen into plasmin. Plasmin subsequently acts on the clot and causes the clot dissolution and produces the fibrin degradation products or FDPs or FSPs, fibrinogen split products. So summarily, the vessel injury releasing plasminogen activators. Plasminogen activators are basically acting on the plasminogen to convert into plasmin. Plasmin subsequently causes the dissolution of the clot. Now the role of the protein C or S, right, that they are activated, and due to their activations, the activators are inhibited. So the activator inhibitors are inhibited, and hence the plasminogen is converted into the plasmin. In this flow diagram, you see that there are how this fibrinolytic mechanism is activated, and there is the extrinsic activation, intrinsic activation, and through the secretion. Now in the extrinsic activation, the organ tissues like myocardium, prostate, uterus, their vascular endothelium, like they produce the plasminogen activators. In the intrinsic activation, high molecular weight kininogens, kallikrein, factor 12A, plasma proactivator, they also activate the plasminogen. In the secretions like urine, tears, saliva, semen, and milk, they also contain the plasminogen activators. Now this plasminogen activators again act onto the plasminogen to convert into plasmin, but the inhibitors of the plasmin are also present in the circulation. Now they are called the antiplasmins. They would be an alpha-2 antiplasmin, alpha-2 macroglobulin, alpha-1 antitrypsin, antithrombin C, and C1 inactivator. C1 activator is C1 is a compound of the complement system. So ultimately, antiplasmins are also present, which could neutralize the effect of the plasmin. Yet there is another source of the plasminogen activation, that is enzyme produced by a bacteria. This is known as the streptokinase. So streptokinase also converts the plasminogen into plasmin, and therapeutic use of the streptokinase for the conversion of the plasminogen into plasmin for immediate fibrinolytic effect is in practice. And thrombin does also perform the same purpose, that it basically also has an effect on the activation of the plasminogen into plasmin. Now, plasmin's role, if you see that role of the plasmin, it activates fibrinolysis, cleaves fibrin and fibrinogen to degradation products, activates intrinsic coagulation pathway, right? This means that the factor 12 formation of the factor 12A from factor 12 is amplified by the plasmin, interferes with intrinsic and common pathway of the clotting. Common pathway of the clotting means that the formation of prothrombin activator destroys factor 8 antihemophilic factor and factor 5, block thrombin conversion of fibrinogen to fibrin, fibrinogen degradation product interfere with thrombin, influence on fibrinogen. For therapeutic destruction of thrombosis, urokinase A trypsin-like protease may be administered to a patient to activate plasminogen to plasmin and induce fibrinolysis. Streptokinase is a toxin produced by the streptococcus bacteria is another agent used to activate plasminogen to plasmin. Tissue plasminogen activator is an agent used for the treatment of thrombosis. It is released in vivo on endothelial cell damage and can be manufactured in vitro through the recombinant DNA technology. So these are the therapeutic applications of the fibrinolytic mechanism to dissolve the clot already formed, to with the help prevent the thrombosis. You can use the streptokinase. It is a plasminogen activator produced by the bacteria streptococci. You can use urokinase. It is also a plasminogen activator used for intravascular lysis. Summary: fibrinolysis is dependent on the enzyme plasmin. Tissue plasminogen activators which convert plasminogen to plasmin are released from injured vessel walls or the endothelial cells. Plasminogen, which normally is present in plasma is converted to plasmin by the action of a specific enzyme called plasminogen activators. Activation of the plasminogen can occur due to intrinsic, extrinsic, exogenous plasminogen activation and activation in the secretory ducts that I have already referred you in the above diagrams. Thank you.